Apes on Tape. Hello and welcome to Apes on Tape's Sound Excited podcast, episode number 4. Last episode we spoke with Sean Borman of Burger Records. They got a very interesting movement going on there. I highly recommend checking that out. This week we're joined by Kristy Graves and Kevin Sir of Seattle's Team Up for Nonprofits, among other things. For those in the Seattle area, we'll get into this more detail later. But Team Up is organizing a show this Thursday, May 9th at Columbia City Theater featuring Theoretics, Fly Moon Royalty, and Hot Bodies in Motion. We'll have a link to that on our site and on our social media as well. So today I was hoping to discuss Team Up for Nonprofits, the background and mission, a bit about Artist Home as well, which Kevin runs, and a number of unique music events that they put on, how those tie together. And also, I think this is relevant to listeners of the show, a bit about organizing successful music events, both financially and attendance-wise, on limited budgets and in the grassroots framework. That was a mouthful, but guys, how you guys doing today?
Doing great.
Wow, thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looked like it was a little bit of sunshine there in Seattle today earlier from what I saw, no?
Yeah, Seattle sunshine for sure.
Yeah, 15 minutes and you're good to go, right?
Yeah, 15 minutes, you're barbecuing, you got your roller skates on. You're Instagramming pictures of it with lots of hashtags.
Yeah, make sure to document it for sure.
Yeah.
So a quick rundown for those unfamiliar. Team Up for Nonprofits is an organization that puts together and promotes music events in the Seattle area that help raise funds and awareness for regional nonprofits or causes. But as usual, I think it's more effective to have you two describe what you're doing in your own words. So do you mind giving us a little background on Team Up?
Sure, go for it, Kristy.
Okay, I'll start. So, yeah, Team Up for Nonprofits is going on its third year, and this upcoming show will be our 15th to raise funds and awareness for a local nonprofit that actually does local or global work. And this time we're partnering with One Day's Wages, supporting their Clean Water Fund, and we'll be hosting a concert, a hip-hop and soul show at Columbia City Theater, and we will be doing, this is our second show of the year. We partner with 3 to 4 nonprofits to hopefully expose them to new audience, younger population, and have some fun doing it, and kind of an easy way for people to give back.
Absolutely. And Kevin, you have anything to add to that?
No, I mean, it's exactly what Kristy said. I mean, it's a great way to go out and have fun and see live music, but for the bands, they play knowing that they're using their art to make a big difference in the world, and for the people that are there in attendance that buy their tickets, their money is going to make a big difference. And with this particular show on May 9th, with One Day's Wages, the show's to provide clean water for people in developing nations. And, and for every dollar that's raised through the event for One Day's Wages, it'll supply another human being with clean water for a year, which I think is a really amazing just statistic that, it's something that One Day's Wages should be pretty proud of being able to do. And
yeah, absolutely.
It's just going to be a great night, and it's going to make a lot of difference to a lot of people. So.
And the nonprofits that you work with, I mean, they range across the board, like you said, One Day's Wages to, I remember going to, I think it was an anti-coal one back in December 2011, to children's educational supplies, to the Outdoors for All Foundation. That's a small list. Maybe you could round out the rest, because I know that there's been a pretty diverse group of causes you've worked with.
Yes. There have been benefits, Climate Solutions and their Power Path Coal, the one that you mentioned, and we've also done benefit Gigs for Good shows for PAWS, which is an animals program locally here, and Bike Works, Rainier Valley Food Bank, Seattle Works, and I'm trying to think, it's the Service Board, which is another outdoor youth organization. They're off the top of my head. We are on 15, so there's a few more in there.
Yeah.
If you can rattle off all 15 off the top of your head, I was going to be impressed. And is there any particular preference or method for selecting which nonprofits or causes you partner with?
We try to support a variety of organizations, small to medium size, that have a presence here in Seattle, at least for now. And we do look to partner with organizations that have at least some social media presence, and organizations that are trying to build that. And we do a social media training with them, so it doesn't mean that they have to be good at it, but we work with them on that. And yeah, we try to mix up the different organizations that we work with and causes, since we know that especially Seattle is a really philanthropic community, and a lot of amazing organizations.
And I think one of the keys to your success, from my perspective at least, has been the team you've got going. You know, there's a range of professionals on board, from, say, Ryan's social media experience to Kevin's experience in booking. But I'm curious, how exactly did that group of people come together to, you know, all get on board with this?
I think a lot of it had to do with Ryan Hodgson. He is the founder, and a Team Up for Nonprofits. And there's a really amazing, talented board, as well as people who volunteer and are associated with it. And I feel like on a few occasions when we've met new people or had our board in a room and we've asked how have people gotten involved, I think I want to say the majority of the hands that were raised were because of Ryan. He's very passionate about this, and he created a really great model for a different way for young people, music fans, and just anyone in general to be philanthropic and support, be involved in music at the same time. So I think he's been a major catalyst. I think that the people that are on the board, a lot of them are just incredibly social media savvy, and I am not. So I'm always, really fascinated. Like, people have full-on conversations and talk about Team Up, through Twitter and whatnot. Next thing you know, they're at a board meeting, and it's really exciting. For me, it's a learning experience on just the power of social media and what it can do to connect people, and get the word about great things. So, yeah.
Well, on that note, I guess while you don't have the quote-unquote social media skills, I think it's important to touch on that. I mean, anyone I think that's been in the Seattle music community playing live or attending live events, for that matter, has probably been involved with something you've had a hand in. I mean, it's like 7 degrees of Kevin's situation there. But, to my understanding, you're a musician yourself, but also run Artist Home. I don't think it's probably not accurate to say it's a production or promotion company, but maybe you could share that story, because I think that does tie into the Team Up story as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, I think, a lot of the ideals that Artist Home has and that I just kind of work by. I was a musician for 7 years. I pretty much lived on the road for 7 years as a touring musician, and was a booking agent out of necessity for my own band, and did a lot of work for a number of bands throughout the years. And with that, just kind of I've always had like sort of an artist first mentality, and really looked at everything that I've done, and with a sense of how is this helping artists, how is this moving artists along, and and sort of an Artist Home went from a booking agency booking 4 bands to just by following the path of least resistance, ended up becoming a company that started producing music festivals and partnering with places like the Dove Resort and Joe Brotherton to help put on Dove Fest. And now we almost entirely, we focus, I think about 3/4 of our time is spent promoting very unique festivals that there's a lot, which just has a lot of like grassroots ideals on them, and in the rest of our time we just do a lot of work for just advocating for artists and doing a lot of like free consultation for artists, actually helping artists along, giving them advice, and just being there as a free resource for them to learn how to navigate the industry, both locally and nationally sometimes. So when Team Up came around and they were looking for a program manager, I realized that there are so many parallels in their construct and in what I was doing with Artist Home, and I just thought it was a perfect fit because, the thing I said right off the bat, it was like, I've always been trying to like do what I can to make a difference for, fellow artists, and this is this huge opportunity to take that difference and have it go to making a bigger difference to, the actual society I live in. And, for this, in this show particular, it's going to make a big difference for people, in other countries across seas. And, and it just really helps give perspective to everything I do. And, the people with the organization are just really beautiful, amazing people, and, who volunteer their time to, make these shows happen and make a difference. So I'm just happy that, the small part of what Artist Homes Gain can be a part of an amazing team and continue to do good things.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Dobe Fest, the documentary that, what was it, KPPS, or I can't remember who produced it, but that documentary, I'll post that because that will speak more than I can say right now, but that's probably one of the most unique and successful small festivals in the country, and I think that captures a lot of what you just described. For those who don't know, it's up on Orcas Island in Washington, but I mean, that sold out, in 20 seconds last year or something like that?
We're like 5, actually.
Okay,
so,
and I remember, I think you emailed me, I had asked about it, and you said, it sold out in 5 seconds, and that's actually true, but I think that speaks to people relating with what you're doing, and that's created a greater community as well. A lot of people in Seattle and stuff, but I think also I'd like to give a shout out to the new Timber Festival we were talking about earlier, which is very exciting, and that will be in Carnation, Washington, east of Seattle. That offers an alternative to Capitol Hill block party, which I've been going to for years, but last year was just so packed that it was tough to even see bands really. So I'm glad that that's an alternative for that. But we'll post information too on that on Timberfest.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah, Timberfest is something that Team Up's a promotional partner with too, so it's kind of cool that I'm able to like bring Team Up into the Artist Home world as well. And Team Up's also been like last year they were big for the busking station at Dobe Fest, which was really awesome. And so there's just definite like kind of bringing, Team Up's been generous enough to bring me into the fold and have me be a part of their world, and it's just going to be really fun to see them be a part of Timber Outdoor Music Festival as well. And Timber's, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to just have a lot of the same ideals that we've kind of succeeded with and just lived by this whole time.
Obviously, I think there's been a degree of DIY and grassroots community and event building that we've discussed here. I think this is something we've discussed on the podcast with our buddy Eric Gilbert from Treefort Festival, and maybe that's just a PNW. We love that spirit of DIY, I guess. But do you two mind sharing thoughts, advice, or suggestions for those looking to work within that DIY and per se limited budget framework in some ways? Because I know there's enough sad news every day, like today I was reading AOL Music and Spinner closing, but I think the three of us also would have definitely seen just as much awesome growth in that time too. But any tips or ideas you'd have for musicians or fans or people trying to get going in that framework?
Yeah, I mean, the advice I give most is just, when you're doing things DIY, you don't have much funds, and you just try to make great musical moments happen or have an idea. I think the biggest thing is just think creatively, come up with creative solutions on how you can connect the dots and, have, make certain things come to life in ways without, solving problems without just throwing money at them. And I think the second most, and the other important thing too is kind of just having, looking and seeing what other people are doing and what's working, but just trying to come up with something that's your own. And I think with Artist Home, everything has been like Dove Fest came about because Joe, me, and Shad, it really was like an effort of just saying, well, let's just like pretend music festivals never existed. What would we want them to be? And I don't know, I just think it's a fun way to go about it. And and if you're not having fun, the crowd's not going to be having fun. And yeah, I guess that's what I would have to say for people wanting to do shows and stuff.
And Chris, do you have anything to add to that from your experience that you've seen, or particular things that worked?
Yeah, I think I don't know if we really mentioned this too, but the Team Up for Nonprofits is actually a volunteer-driven organization. We have 18 board members, and Kevin is our only part-time staff person, and it is amazing what you can do with the power of just a small community of people that are passionate about something. And the shows that we do we'd usually say right now, the 300 to 500 person range, and we're raising anywhere from 5,000 to 10,000 for a nonprofit. But the other aspect of that beyond the money is the awareness piece, and it's actually what a lot of nonprofits want from the Gigs for Good program and the show is just to grow the number of people that know about them and potentially engage some new volunteers or donors, and that is definitely more power of word of mouth and relationships and people more than it is dollars.
Yeah, and I think that takes it from being a one-time thing that someone might be a part of to being aware of what's going on down the road, whether it's a Facebook follow or Twitter, that kind of stuff. You're getting involved with something for a long term. I think I gotta imagine that helps.
Yeah, and what's been cool for for myself personally, and I think a lot of folks on the board, and even people that go to Team Up shows, is we have the community. And there's some overlap too with the community with Obey and Timber, and it is kind of like a family and really inclusive, which is awesome.
Good thing to have, for sure. So again, on May 9th, the show is at Columbia City Theater. I love that place. I played back there. I think it was in 2008 or so, but it's a great place to see a show. And Theoretics, Hot Bodies in Motion, Flyman Realty are playing. Tickets are on sale now, right?
Yep, they are.
Yeah.
We'll post that link. That's going to be a very cool show. I love Hot Bodies. We tried to get them to play our Cascadia South by Southwest bill, but didn't work out. But check out Team Up, and we'll have the social media links and all that on the site as well. But thank you guys very much for coming on and talk to us, and we'll be looking forward to seeing what you do in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you. And it will be live streamed as well, for those that don't live in Seattle.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I'll include that. Awesome. Good news. Well, thank you guys. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you.